I realized I needed a router table. I don't have one, so here's how I'm going to make my own. I'm pretty handy that way. So what I've decided to do is I've got a piece of finished 3/8 plywood that was left over from of course, another project. And now I've got my router over here. It's heavy duty commercial. This is a nice router. It's an oldie, but really a good one. And I'm going to drill a hole so that this tightening nut will clear right here. And then I'm going to clamp this up underneath here. And then I'll use my workmate for my table. There we go. That's finished. Now the next step, you want to make sure you see which side of this finished plywood's got the smoothest side to it. Make this the bottom. I can see that this finished side on this is pretty nice. I'll make this the bottom here. So my next step here is I'm working on the base of my router. I'm drilling some holes here to attach it to this piece of plywood. So make my router table. So I'm going to use 4 bolts. So there's the 4. And my next step is this is underneath. So I'm going to make marks here where I got to drill my holes. Enhance it a little bit. There. Now I'll drill 4 holes on those marks. There's 4 of those. So we're going to turn it around. I'll take a bigger drill. Just countersink these holes a little bit for the head of my screws to drop in, because my screws are like this. So I've got to drop them in, and so I'll just countersink. I have a countersinking bit. And just for that, here it is here, and I can countersink these holes. Careful not to take out too much of the plywood as I do it, otherwise I won't have any strength to hold it. Plywood won't. So I come in and I just do a little bit. It's enough to fact, because it's screwing in like this, I like that. That means that it'll stay tight. And when you're into precision, like with a router, you want to keep it as secure as possible to my working table here, because more the better. and then I'll be able to take the router off if I want to. I'll put the router in. Just like my own shaper. Do a quick change with the bits. Put this back in here. And line this back up here. In fact, we'll turn it over. I'm going to drill in another hole just to keep this thing nice and secure. If I did it right, it should line up. You want a nice fit. So sometimes we just have to give it a little persuasion. There. That'll do it. I'll get a washer for each one of these. And aluminum is soft, so definitely want to put a washer on this because it is soft material. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm putting the bolts, washers on. I'll tighten this up and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so because I have a little bit of a clearance issue with this table mate, the jaws only open so wide that the base of the router is conflicting with the opening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some scrap pieces of plywood that I had over from another project, and I'm going to put two pieces, screw it right in here on both sides, take the cut-offs in here and just put them in here for spacers to keep everything even. And then I'll clamp this to this workmate once I've got the spacers in place, and that'll give me the clearance that I need here. See, it's going to be in place. I can glue it and all that. I don't think I need all that. That's what I want. I want to countersink them so it doesn't affect my working surface. So basically I'm going to do this to the other three sides, and okay, so I put on the let me show you here. I put on the pieces of plywood, and some of the screws were coming through a bit, so I took my grinder and smoothed them out, took the points off. So here we are. We are going to show you. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm making a shelf, and I need to take out halfway a slot, the width of the plywood that I'm using here, so it just fits. And I've used this one, I marked it, and I just scribed it on this next one. It's going to be two pieces like this that are going to go together. So here's the new router table in action. I don't need the guide right now because I can do it with my hands. I can follow along here and just guide it right into the bit. So follow along, you'll see how it works. Now let's see how our two pieces fit together. There we go. So we see that now I've made, this is going to be the center of the shelving I'm making. And it's going to be something like this. There are 4 pieces that go to the side. And this makes a little... Okay, so on my how to make your own router table, what I've done here is I have taken some stock actually from an awning off an RV. I happen to have this off an old RV I had. So once I had that, those 3 component pieces, you can see I cut the 45s out of the smaller stock here, and then I took my grinder and made my triangular web here. Just cut it out. Aluminum's pretty soft. It's pretty easy to work with, so you could do it with a hacksaw. It doesn't have to be. What I liked about the grinder, because I only wanted to do one side of this. I didn't want to do both sides. So the trick was to get on this side, but not take this side, because I need the strength. The other added bonus too with this is that with these pieces in here, it also, when I clamp down, it has more structural strength, because this channel piece is very thin stock, 1/16 of an inch, and the other is 1/8. So what happens is the clamps would just squish it out of proportion, both ends. And so by putting this in, it also keeps, when I'm pressing up against the guide, it keeps it from bending in here too, because this is very thin stock. So this really, then I took a square and I referenced some lines, so when I go to put this back on, I've got lines referenced with a magic marker. I can line this right back up, clamp it down, and I'm ready to go on my next project, depending on which bit I'm using. So that's how I did it, and it works really well. I've been experimenting with this, and this is the best guide I've come up with to date, and it's really doing a nice job with this piece of wood, a nice piece of red oak. So no complaints from me.